While going my peeps, there this evening I spend a good time with you just to talk about something that is of importance. A man perished at the Sunset International Airport, was about to board a JetBlue flight when he fell and hit his head. And the story that coming out of it is that to get medical attention, the paramedics, it takes a long while. And to me, that just doesn't make sense, even though I heard that a nurse and a flight attendant attend to him. But I don't think it was a nurse that was employed to the facility or a part of any paramedic group that was attending to the person. But before we go any further, just like, share, and subscribe because we're gonna talk about this a little bit. We know there are good things that going on back home in Jamaica, but there are some negative things too. And I am here to talk about the good and of course the bad. And I'm willing to help as well, in any area that I can. But it is indeed a sad thing that somebody would be boarding a flight and while attempted to reach his passport, he fell, hit his head, and because of lack of medical um, care or attendance, um, he perished. Um, it's just not good. And not only that, in the cleaner yesterday, it said they stole his item in the process, his watch and his chain, and so while persons dealing with the medical aspect of things, um, somebody was there robbing the man. Here to talk about it tonight is Dr. Francis, a close ally and friend of this station. Good evening, man in the green. Dr. Francis, how you doing?
Good evening, my friend. How are you?
But
Oh, I have no, my backdrop isn't showing up. Uh,
uh,
I don't know what happened here.
all right, you wanna fix that while let
Uh,
me.
let me.
Dr. Francis is working on his backdrop. Yeah. So I'm saying it's sad. So let me just give you a tip uh, of another blogger who had obtained some information. It's 12 minutes long, but I don't think I'm gonna play that. I'm gonna play some of it for you to hear what happened to this man while trying to return to the United
He
States.
arrived at the Sangster International Airport to check in on a JetBlue flight. That flight was scheduled to leave at 12:25 p.m., but it was delayed until 1:15. At minutes after 11 o'clock, Mr. Leroy Smith, he was in the process of checking in. Whilst he was in the departure terminal, he was in the process of searching his knapsack for his passport when he fainted, fell to the ground, and hit his head on the floor. A JetBlue representative and a nurse responded. In the end, Mr. Leroy Smith, he died right there in the Sangster International Airport. Like I said before, this video that I'm gonna be playing is of a lady who was in the airport. Listen to what she has to say because it is very, very important. Remember to hit on the love button from now. Also, share the video. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, hit on the subscribe button. Watch this.
Hi everyone. This is not something that I normally do. As a matter of fact, I've never done it before. but I believe that there's a need to do this today. I'm doing this. I'm live at this Sangsters International Airport on my way back home to America, taking flight JetBlue. So we arrived at the airport just about 11 o'clock there, or near 11 o'clock or a little bit after. We were at the gate, not the gate, sorry, the counter. Actually, I was at the kiosk, and while I was waiting at the kiosk, to operate the kiosk, a gentleman was behind me, one of the agents, speaking to another man. But I didn't pay them much attention, but I know they were talking. And then I just heard like somebody fell. I looked behind me. It was the passenger, an elderly man that fell. Blood was coming, I think, from his nose. And the agent who he was talking to, who had just stepped off for a little, just turned his back, turned around, and took up his head and tried to clear his passages. And I was saying, somebody call 911 or 119, whatever the case is. And I was saying to him, give him CPR. But he said to me, he's breathing. He's breathing, and for truth, he was breathing and doing a little bit of shuffling, slight shuffling. So when I saw a lot of blood coming from his head, I couldn't see the wound, but the blood was on the floor on his head. So I went into his bag. I saw his passport. His passport was on the ground beside him. So I took it up, put it in his bag. I looked at his bag and I saw his name, the name tag on the bag. So I could say what his name was. And then I was saying to the gentleman, we were there conversing, and I said, somebody call help. So in the meantime, I guess somebody was making a call. Somebody did say that they called whatever. I think they said operations or something. Right? And while they were there, nobody, and it took about between 20 minutes and half an hour for a lone nurse to come by. Right? And while the man was there, while the young guy was there with him, trying to keep his head up and all of that, I went into his bag and I saw a roll of tissue. And I gave him the roll of tissue, the entire roll, and tell him to press it on the wound. Try to press it on the wound on the head. Anyways, the nurse finally came and she said she was checking his oxygen, in the meantime, I took out his phone. I got his phone and was searching his phone to see if I could find a number, a recent number. And we were making calls using our phone. And because we couldn't place any calls on his phone. And then the JetBlue lady came and she took his phone and she went on the phone. Myself and her, we were going through what to find a number that we think we could call. So she called the number. While she was calling the number, another gentleman who came, I don't know who he represents, but he's with the airport. He had on one of those vests. And he was saying, because we got through to the person on the phone, and the lady was telling him that, the customer, I won't say his name, the passenger, he collapsed, and he's at the airport. So she said she was trying to get somebody, He was there now telling us to tell him, or telling the JetBlue lady to tell the person on the phone that the single ambulance that is at Cornwall Regional is not available. And for them to call a private ambulance, the person on the phone has to approve the payment of $400. They have to confirm that it's okay for them to call the ambulance and noting the payment of $400. So I said, we have to wait for them to do that to get help for the man. The man need help. I saw the man gap. I've never seen somebody gap, or what they call it, catch breath, in my entire life. First time I'm seeing that. Right? And the man was gapping. right? And the man was saying, so I said, why do you need to tell them that? Why you need to get $400 or to confirm that then we pay $400 before you call that? You understand? So that is stupid. So the nurse was saying if they can't get the ambulance, then they'll get the taxi. Miss, get the taxi. I'll pay the money for him. I'll pay the taxi. Get the taxi. You understand? So they tried to let me know that it's protocol and they have to get approval from the family member to call the ambulance, to call the private ambulance, which will cost $400 US. The man at the airport waiting and ready to go back to America, taking JetBlue, right? And he would have paid his fare to go on the flight. So I'm saying, could not JetBlue or even the airport take that cost? They have to depend or they have to wait until a family member says that it's okay to go ahead and call the ambulance. Mark, the man came to the airport, whoever got him there left him, an elderly man. Understand? And I'm saying, come on, man. That is how we do things here. The man stayed right there on the floor and died. The man died on the floor. He died. My God. Because people are going to talk about you have to get approval to call an ambulance. Look how many people travel in the airport daily. Hundreds of thousands of people travel through the airport daily. And we don't have nothing in place for things like this. We don't have nothing in place for things like this. It just made me wonder if it was a white person, if it would have been the same treatment. I'm thinking this could happen to anybody. It could happen to me. It could happen to anybody at all, right? You know, just stay there and die. It takes so long to make a decision when people's life is dependent on it. We have to do better. Jamaica, JetBlue, I'm calling you out on this one because you should have been there for the man. You shouldn't be asking that question. He was your passenger and him at the airport and he was talking to an agent, right? Getting whatever information he needed to get on the plane to check in, and he collapsed right there. All of that.
Dr. Francis. Where is Dr. Francis?
I'm here.
Hear me, Dr.
I'm here. I'm ready. I'm here.
I am running this video, and Dr. Francis is very disturbing. Because let me tell you why I find this disturbing. He is now blaming JetBlue for not playing their part, and I'm not saying that JetBlue don't have a responsibility. I don't know, but there should be at least a paramedic ambulance somewhere on the ground there, Dr. Francis. They shouldn't have to wait until until JetBlue kick in or anybody. Anybody should be able to call 119 and get assistance, especially there at the airport. You want to tell me that there is no medical ambulance or anything of that sort at the airport waiting for, you know, to assist people in any medical emergency at the busy airport where you have thousands of people going through? Dr. Francis, does that make sense to you?
It absolutely does not make sense, my friend, because to be quite honest with you, my God, when I saw that and I saw the lady's reaction, I am telling you, it got to me. And I think, and that just brought me back to why are we here? Why are we advocating? And I must apologize to the listeners that I'm wearing a beard and I'm not the normal face. I decided to wear a beard to be different from Dennis because, you know, he's and I know that I am, so I'm just gonna ugly up myself with the beard. But quite honest with you, I had an operation on my face down here, and it has to heal before I can shave again. So I'm not afraid of Dennis's features. All right,
Okay.
having said all that, and I'm trying to lighten up the situation here, ladies and gentlemen, regardless of where you stand, this is not politics, this is nothing, this is just humanitarianism. And I don't want to make, I think we have a couple instances, both here and in Jamaica and other places, of things happening to people that they're elderly and what have you. And you have to ask yourself the question. And the lady asked one whether if he was white. I think it would have happened to anybody, to be quite honest, because there is no system. And Bob Marley had a word for that, if everybody remember it. I can't repeat it on Sutherland TV, but he had a name for it. Is the system is flawed. And we really need to address this issue. And I would like your people who are listening to you tonight to tell us what your viewpoints are. I mean, the fact of the matter is that I did the research about airports and what they should be, what you say now, well, how they should react and what they should do. And I did it in the Caribbean, and we have a number of places in the Caribbean who has state-of-the-art reaction. You don't have to call it 911 because you're supposed to have fire on the spot. Remember, if something happens there, right? Anything happens, the fire brigade, the fire people are there. You have somebody pointed that you have the soldiers across the road and they're also trained, right?
Yeah,
You have a police station.
Yeah,
right?
but Dr. Francis, this is our major
Yes.
tourist airport,
Yes.
the major tourist airport.
Yes.
And I'm glad you said this is not politics, because I'm not in the game of politics. I'm not blaming the government, because the one before and the one current are in all the others that come before and up until this point has not paid any attention to these areas. And I'm saying,
I'm going to just tell that little joke that just came across. Here are you in a green shirt, right? And you know what I mean. And here I am in a red shirt, so you know what I mean, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that if somebody looking at this, boy, I don't be a video or this, that, and the boy, I don't be a bread. No, I'm just trying to say, but can we get over that? And
Yes,
with the humanity of the situation, that you're totally right. It is incumbent on us if we provide a delivery. It's like even at the hotel, anywhere else. People get, they buy on your ticket, you can add air ambulance and all that sort of thing, But the problem is, why you buy the thing, and if anything happens to you anywhere, will there be an air ambulance?
Dr. Francis, this thing is very deep, and I'm saddened by that, because
But ask your people, ask your audience, ask the audience what they think. Let them tell you what they think, because I don't want up here to be a old man who just talking through your hat. You know what I mean? I want people to see it. Can we what do you call it? Agree that we need some degree of what you're saying there, something to uphold.
That's why I'm saying, Dr. Francis, that's why I'm glad you said what you said earlier. We have to let go of this whole politics thing and look at it from a humanitarian perspective. Dr. Francis, I must tell you that I'm having an echo. I don't know where that's coming from, but let me see if I could cut it down a little bit. Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you good. Yes.
Okay. So I was in Mandeville 2 weeks ago, and a friend of mine, dad, is sick, and he actually was in the private hospital there in Mandeville, a private hospital. No, he had some tests that need to get done, Dr. Francis. And this happened both at the private and the public hospital, but he was at the private hospital. And what they did in order for, because these test sites are off site, they're not there on the location. I don't know why I'm getting this echo, but it's okay. Life goes on. And they release the patient, Dr. Francis. They release a patient to my friend. They release a patient to my friend to take the patient, a sick patient, that is in the hospital, to go get all the tests done and these offsite tests placed, whether it's CAT scan or MRI, whatever. And then when he's done, he had to return the patient. Remember, this patient is admitted to the hospital, Dr. Francis. Is a patient of the hospital. But to get a test done, he might have to go take him own personal car, pick up him father, take him father to get the MRI or CAT scan, whatever there is, or X-ray, whatever, and bring there. That makes no sense at all, Dr. Francis. This man is a man in his 80s, Dr. Francis.
Well, let me tell you something. Boy, I mean, Dennis, let me tell you something. When I think about it, and I hear the stories, of how many people sit in a chair when they go there to wait to be looked at the hospitals, right? And they die. Right in the
Go ahead, I'm listening to
you. I mean, right in the hospital, the same place they came in and waiting for the help, right? They die there. No, what I'm trying to say is something is wrong. And when you talk about it, people say you try to damage brand Jamaica.
Mm-mm.
Come on. I want to ask any of you, if you're there in Jamaica and you take sick, wouldn't you like help immediately? You can afford it.
But Dr. Francis, that's the problem, Dr. Francis. A lot of those people in Jamaica, they become that becomes a norm to them. So the real issue that they're having, they're not even aware of it. They think going to the hospital, being admitted, and you go take up your loved one and take them to the test site and bring them back without any medical care. Whatever IV they have, they unplug it and all of that. So saying you got to do a test. You're a patient at the hospital. And they think that's a norm, so they don't see the problem with it.
Well, Dennis, Andrew Hewitt production says that not the government, the airport is leased to somebody that they're responsible for every incident on that property. My dear friend Andrew, please, Andrew, let me explain something to you. If I rent you a place and you are in charge of it, right? You're in charge of the place, and something's happened at the place. You say it's not the person who is not you, is the person. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is what is your responsibility. And even if you put it on the people out there who make sure that this is not like a rental,
Sorry to cut you, Dr. Francis. The government should have a standard at the airport that whoever rent the airport have to abide by in the their people. It cannot be that you're telling me that it's not the standard of the government. It is the airport. That to me don't make no sense.
It is
not disrespecting you at all in any way, shape, or form. We're trying to dissect this whole thing, and I'm saying, in my opinion, and from what I know, right, if there was system and standard that was set by the government, whoever they rent the airport to, they have to ensure that medical is covered. They have to have paramedical scene.
Yes.
Just in case of incident like these. You cannot tell me at this point you're gonna blame the airport. No.
What? You know what this, Dennis? You know what this sounds like? You go to the airport and you want to use the bathroom and say, no, we don't have no bathroom here because we didn't rent it with a bathroom. So go try and find a tree somewhere. Or what do you? I mean, this is ridiculous. Okay, this is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, man, it is ridiculous. And please, ladies and gentlemen,
tonight, and to come back now and say nobody in Jamaica thought of this. Well, yes, and that's what we're saying, and that's why we need the feedback from everybody. Bento just said, if you have money in Jamaica, it shouldn't be like that. No. And life is important, no matter what.
Yes,
the life is important. You know, I could understand if the man was walking up and down the street, and even that I can't understand, and him mad and whatever, you would chop you up or what. I can understand. But this man is a Jamaican. He left the diaspora and he came down to come see his family. He's a twin. He has a twin brother or something like that. And he came to enjoy himself, and we want to enjoy ourselves in Jamaica. And I'm saying to you, on his way back, he fall down. And you're gonna tell me, so it have to take, and the nurse did not offer any first aid, not knocking her, right? But the lady said the man was there alive. He was talking, and his head was bleeding. Nobody could even put a pressure on the man's head to try to stop the bleeding of some sorts. Eh? Right? And the other guy was just over him. And then, if you think it is bad, wait till you hear the next part of the story. Do you know what the next part of the story is? When him dead, them take away him gold chain, him watch, and him money.
It's just so sad.
So
Man.
what
It's just so sad. Guys, let me say this. Let us let go of politics and these political partisan affiliation, and separate ourselves from that tonight, please. I'm begging you. We have a situation in Jamaica that I want, because the truth is, Dr. Francis, if we don't highlight these things, and if these things don't happen, the next government come in and do them thing and God and don't put no system in place. It's not a labor therapy issue. Because if you want to blame the current government, you could have blamed the previous one too. Because he did not put a system in place where this one removed.
No, well, let me say this to you, though. Let's say this to you. We have ministries, and you have one. You have crime. You have Ministry of Security. You have Ministry of Health, Education, etc., etc. So this would come. I would have thought that you have a Ministry of Health. They would do an inventory or look at what happens pertains in other countries. And let me tell you something. Ask anybody at night to go and Google it right now and see, of all the Caribbean countries, if they operate like this. And I'm going to tell you, you'll be surprised. The 5 that stands out when I check the records, right? I went and Googled it for myself. Bahamas, Barbados, Turks and Caicos, Cayman Islands, and I think the other one is either Antigua, one of them. Not Trinidad and Tobago, all that is island. They have, though, if something like this happens at these small places, they have a system they say is like world class. Mm-hmm. Right? That means that they care about their name, not their
and their people. And their people,
of course. But remember, why I say name, let me explain to you. Your good name is very important, because when you spoil it, then you get your good name, it tarnish, So if we continue like that, because when we had the travel advisory the other day, if you remember, the government went and tried to reduce it, and they did, and what have you, and so on and so on. But right now, remember, one of the issues was the health situation, and how do we provide health care if something happens. So let me tell you something. I am just saddened by the event. Saddened by it. We have lost a life of a human being. And we want to know that this does not happen again under such circumstances. I think it's important that we bring this thing out. Listen, let me say this to you. We have some of the best nurses that any island has produced, the best nurses. Yes. So why are we not here with us? And what are the reasons why? We have to find a way to fix it. And we're not going to necessarily just go blame people. We want to find a way to make us comfortable in our own skin.
Exactly. As fear.
Yes, and safe.
Because, it is really a concern of mine, Dr. Francis. Because when I think, I always have this desire, which you would have known, to go back home and all that stuff. I wish, Dr. Francis, if tomorrow morning I could wake up back home in Jamaica, living in Jamaica. But the absence of all these basic amenities, and I said basic amenities, the absence of these basic things, Dr. Francis, what is the reason why it's just hard for me to take myself up and go back home? Because I don't have medical protection, I don't have security protection. You know what I'm saying? And this is not a politics, government, whatever you want to call it. I mean, it's a government responsibility. I know that. We all know that. But I'm saying they don't prioritize these things. These things are not their priority.
And
And
maybe,
it has been like that for a very long time.
but maybe it's because we don't own it, or we don't, as the gentleman was saying earlier, we don't own it and we don't control it. But that's part of the problem. We need to own our own resources that we can fulfill put them anywhere we want to.
But Dr.
Me-
Francis, I have been to places and I rent halls and I do stuff. And when I rent these halls to do whatever I'm doing, they have their standards that's in place that I have to abide by. If you're gonna sell that airport, I don't have a problem with you selling. Well, probably they shouldn't. But depending, I don't know the whole financial aspect of it and why they sold it. But if you're gonna sell it, you have to ensure in the package when you go and deliver to them that your people, the protection of your people, the protection of your name, the protection of your name is very important. So these are the conditions on which you're going to purchase this airport on. You have to ensure that there is paramedics there 24/7. Because remember, Dr. Francis, it makes no sense when you look at it. This is the airport that most of the tourists come through, and we depend on tourism so much. It is a part of our natural resource.
So the question we
We
ask,
have to put system in place to ensure your natural resource is protected.
I agree, but so we let's say we've hammered that in terms of where do we go, how do we change, how do we manage to get things on an even keel? How do we fix it? What's the way forward? And the way forward
I
is
like that. I like that question, Dr. Francis. Just to let you know, I like that question. Because we have to move forward.
yes, we have to move forward because it should never happen again. I mean, come on. All we have to do is, even if we had a nurse on duty, two nurses on duty on a car, a little cart, like a golf cart, right? Could move that person to a hospital setting right away. Remember, we have the police station out there, we have the fire station. You're going to tell me so the man can lie down and and firemen know how to do these things. So if it was a JetBlue that had crashed out there, who would go? Would we just be here talking about it?
Dan James tell you that was a part of the travel advisory too. The poor medical system that they have there. We have to call upon the government, Dr. Francis, to ensure, because you and I travel there. We have people traveling there. We have people live there. Right? We have people live there. So we have to call upon. These are the things that one of the things that I really like in the direction that you had gone into is to call upon the government for the protection of the people of Jamaica, whether you're living there or not. So no, this is a clear evidence that they're saying the whole people from the diaspora get involved in this and get involved in that. So why just then? So you see why we business, why it's important for us to be involved and ensure that there are systems in place. Because we got It's not about just the people that live on the ground. When we go there, we want security and we want medical facilities that we can utilize just in case of an emergency.
Look, man, listen, if the IMF can employ Dr. Nigel Clark to run an organization of worldwide. That means that the man, they must see something in the man that is good, and he was in government. You understand me?
Mm.
And I am sure that we have good people in government and opposition everywhere. So let us not go and hide behind no shadows. We don't have to hide. We have the expertise. The question is there a will? There is a way, but is there a will to do it? And we
The will is absent, Dr. Francis. That's where I have a problem. Yes, Petra, it is still there, and I say that because a lot of times when I land at Sangster, I would have seen those fire trucks and the airfield. And the truth is, I don't even know if they're working because I see them park up there. I don't even know if they're working. And I don't know if they're just there because they're on the inside of the airport. I don't know if they're there to operate in that behind on the airfield actually.
And I'm going to say this. I want to say it's almost impossible to believe that it is not there for that purpose because you know why would you have it there spending money paying people to do what? To just look at them? No, I believe that these people are getting away with murder, literally, because you know they're not really doing what they're supposed to be doing. I don't think it was organized to do, and nobody can come tell me that they were organized to react like a 911 or what have you, and act that way. No, that's impossible. Can you believe that? Can anybody believe it?
I refuse to believe it that today, 2024, you understand, 2024, and I can almost tell you and I'm emphasizing on this because I don't want to be tied to any political party, to be honest. But Dr. Francis, any one of them did in a power today, the same thing would have happened because none of them have ever made the people their priority. None of them had ever made the people their priority.
You know,
That's what
let me say this to you.
in this part.
I want to just go to Andrew again, saying the problem is that, and Andrew took that one off a little bit too early.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me see.
Respond to that. The problem is the voters in Jamaica are concerned about these things, so it's like they're not concerned. Yeah, they're not. They left out the not. So it's like pulling teeth, Andrew. The only way I tell you something, it's not easy to pull a teeth without cocaine because when I was growing up, a man just come with the pliers, come talk about my dentist and pull out the teeth, But
that.
Yes, man, that used to happen. Yes, you never know in the old days.
But we know that, man.
Okay, good. What I'm trying to say, Petra, we need people, of course. It needs people to talk about it, right? And to get serious about it and tell their neighbors. Yeah, I know people, who say that, people around them don't know what is going on, right? Yes, Brenda, we know that. They're not there, and they must employ medical. But at the same time, the question is, people are talking about the money to pay these people when they are there. But you can't think about that. You have to think about, and you're going to say something hasn't happened. But my God, to have an immediate response team, how much could that? Listen, first of all, the doctors doesn't have to be. There is a private hospital in front of near Half Moon Hotel. Did you know that? In Montego Bay?
No.
Oh yes, there's a nice private hospital. Believe you me, had they taken that man to there, it would be about a 10-minute ride. It's just before the sandals on the right hand side, and then you have the blue place where them over there on the left. And yes, the airport is there next, right? It wouldn't take him there. Then you work out the money situation afterwards. You understand me? Talk to them. So listen, they must, and they normally have people on can stop bleeding in the man. So it's the bleeding in the man's brain, on the man's head. The man ran out of blood.
Dr. Francis, Jamaican people are too busy. A lot of Jamaican, I'm not gonna say all, but a lot of us too busy playing politics. Supporting political party and defending political party. Even this argument that you and I are having right now, Dr. Francis, a lot of people are thinking about it. They can't get past the political lens. And of course, the interpretation of many, and I'm going to get the calls, is that we are bashing the government. I am saying to you guys,
Wow.
I am not bashing any government. I am saying we need security for the citizens of Jamaica and members of the diaspora when we visit the country. That's what I'm saying.
And the politicians themselves, anybody. It doesn't matter.
Anybody,
Yeah.
anybody.
So therefore, yes, when I say that, you're right, you're true. The extra money. Let me tell you something. There are ways and means of doing this, okay? And if there's a little tax, I could imagine, if you talk about GCT or what have you, and to make sure that, they could collect the money. The question is, if they collect money towards that, does it go to that? If you understand, and I'm not, listen to me, I'm just talking here now, and believe you me, I hope nobody going to talk about, say, me and Dennis talking about, because one of the things I said to Dennis, we can come and we can talk about this thing, but we must leave the politics out of it, okay?
Yes, man. I want to do that.
People don't want to do that because they want to put you in a certain, what should I say now, hole or cover, as make you there. So, you see when you see that guy, he's political. No,
Yeah, man.
I don't think that is fair. I have had political blows, as you know, right? I've had them. But the point I'm making is, why don't you get to know who is talking to you? Try and find that out. Are they being sincere? Are they trying to bring attention to themselves? No. I am saying if I was there, and by the way, I'm older than that man. So
Yeah.
it is like I could have fallen. You understand me? And then hit my head. Okay?
Mhm.
And members of my family are nurses, but they might not be there. So what I'm saying is, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. And lots of you are talking. If your member of your family fell and hit their head like that and died, you would be up in arms, you chop up somebody. You know that. I know that. Oh, so you think you can fool me? Tom drunk, but Tom the fool. We must, as Jamaicans, whether we like each other or not, whether we agree with each other or not, we must admit that we're not ready when it comes to certain things. Right? And ready, when I said that, it's not being facetious. I'm saying if you who is criticizing me are saying that I'm this and I'm that, if you felt I want to see you, listen to me. You see how that woman ball? The woman ball as if the man was her own,
That's
picnic.
a Francis. If you go to Sangster International Airport, the same one when I have no paramedics and allow the man to perish. If you go to that airport and you park your car and step out of your car, you go kiss your loved one goodbye. By the time you look around, there's a boot on the car. That's how strict they are. They are about parking in that airport. I tell them, I have to talk to one of the guys about it the other day.
What they do is there are men out there who are calling as soon as somebody's there for 2 or 3 seconds that to come now, this time to put up about, yeah.
The minute you come out of your vehicle of your loved one, by the time you look around, they put a boot on it. You have to pay over $1,000 to take it out. Where are those money going? In somebody's pocket?
Wow.
Where the money they got? I'm telling you, they put hundreds of cars daily out there. And you have to find the $2,500 to take it off. Because you just give them the $2,500 and then take it off. There's no paperwork, nothing involved for the most part. So it's like a hustling thing out there, I don't know. But I've seen it, I've been a victim of it too. You understand? Because I just step out, right? Because and it's a rental car, I return the rental car. So I just step out of the car and put the bag right there, so right at the doorway, and I met my loved one going and put the bag right there. And guess what? By the time I look around, boot the panic car, $2,500 to take it out. That's how strict around the airport. It's very strict out there. Anybody go to that airport, they will tell you how strict they are with parking. But they're not strict when you come on to saving somebody's life. How does that make sense? Where are those money going? You know, so that money that they get off booting people car, the hundreds of cars that they do daily, could pay paramedics to be at the scene, some medical personnel to be in a room somewhere near the airport. They could do it.
Mhm.
The money is there.
When
But
COVID,
the protection of the people is not the government's priority. Go ahead,
Then-
Dr.
then
Francis.
you know, dear Brenda made another great point. But let me say, remember, you know, that when COVID was going on, you know, you couldn't come in there without the little COVID thing, you know. Or else you have to pay for get the thing before that, you know, and,
Yes,
and
man.
all them type of something. And that worked like clockwork. And there was a nurse there ready for joke you. They had that, you know, and so on. So this seems to me that it's like a
It's a priority situation, Dr. Francis. It's a priority situation where they just don't pay attention to what is important. The protection of the people is never any government's, any other government a priority. Any one of them. They might go out and they might reach out and give poor people this, some of them, and do this and do that and do that. You know, one immediate need or one immediate want. You know, give them a trust that may pay for it sort of thing. Give a little contract around this and all of that. Those are the crap that they do and say them are poor people and rich people government, wherever they want to do it. But when it comes on to the real substance of protecting the citizen of Jamaica and members in the diaspora, it was never any priority of the priority of any of these governments. I'm telling you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm asking you all to stop play politics, stop play politics, and stand up for the people of Jamaica when they want from any government. I tell you, I don't care when next year who win next year election. I'm not going there because we will end up in the same place. I'm talking last week and some people vex that these politicians they come and they rape us, Dr. Francis, and gone about them business. No protection for the people. So why should I even blame this government when the other one didn't put the same system in place? No, they care about us. That's my point, Dr. Francis. I don't know if you share my sentiment, but that's how I feel.
you know, I'm going to tell you, it makes a lot of merit and a lot of sense, you know, but I just don't understand how people cannot see past certain things because, you know, the carnage on the roads is there, and that's another medical issue. There are no ambulances available. The police can't respond. Nobody. So who's going to respond? I'm asking everybody, if you're saying that they're not, who is supposed to be responsible? We pay taxes and so on and so forth. Let me make it quite clear. The question was asked whether if he was white, and I don't like the color thing, whether he would have gone. But I guarantee you,
it would have been the same thing.
no, sir. I guarantee if it was a tourist,
they would have think said the money that come from somewhere, so they would have didn't do it.
They would have done it, in my opinion, if it was a tourist, when I talk white or black, no. I mean, a tourist, you know, and obviously look like a tourist.
Foreigner, yeah.
Yeah, foreigner.
White,
I believe that they would have found something to take them to the hospital immediatamente. No questions asked.
I don't think this is the first medical emergency that they ever have at the airport.
No, but
there have to be many of these.
I know they have. Somewhere in that immigration, when you come in and pass your passport, I know they have nurses or some type of nurse. I have seen them. Have you not seen them? When you're passing through, some people in white and you know, one or two, somewhere along there. So the question is, where is the golf cart? Or, you know, which is what they use at the other airports and so on, with this, you know, stretcher and so on. Within, if it's somebody fell here, somebody fainted here, you should see those persons out there. And then, if it was bad and not too bad, the man stayed there and dead, and then take off the whole of the man gold chain and empty. Is this Jamaica? That doesn't make sense. And don't tell me about that is political. That's just damn free and
Look,
wicked.
but Dr. Francis, I tell you this, I'm gonna be honest with you, Dr. Francis. I get pissed off all the time going through that airport, because the minute that you step out of that airport, come out of that place, then start rob and harass you until you reach in your car. I tell you that. You have you have some young boy. When we used to pull out the paperwork that's and then give you at the airport, you have a man to take you, but let me pull it out, man. And you say, wow, what a nice guy. As soon as he get back, you have to give him a thing, You go down, you go down and go through immigration right there, sir. And then you go get your bag right there, sir. By the time you reach on the one guy ready for what kind of bag? Virgin me right now. No man, we just want to find out what kind of bag you have because I want to and he find out what kind of bag. And he wait and he look on it and he wait until he come out. He take up it right there, so Dr. Francis. Right there, so take it up and just hand it to you. In a movie. In a movie that 1 foot. I'm check everything, You left go out you left go out and you got to rent a car place Dr. Francis. That's our whole different topic. The clerk check you. The man where I walk you over with the car check you. And the man where I write up the paperwork check you. Everybody it's just a total mess on every prison, Dr. Francis. I've gone through it. It's terrible at those places. It's like just a hustling. So I'm not surprised that when them see a man fall out down there, that them would take off and things. Because that's how they're rolling that place. I tell you, it's just a hustling. People come to that area for just hustle, make money off of members of the diaspora and tourists and all of that. Everybody that travel, they just want it's just a hustling, and that's why they treat even the parking thing. It's just a hustling. Nobody have any proper system in place down there. It's a humanitarian. It's just a hustling thing. It's just sad, yeah, man. Jamaica need airport health. Yeah, they need it, but they just don't have it. How could you have a place where you have police station like Dr. Francis said? You have fire. So hold on. Let me ask you this. Those people, Dr. Francis, are the fireman in the back where you that see with their fire truck. They are not trained paramedics.
Oh, yes, they are trained as paramedics. Yes. That's the issue.
So when they're there, they're only supposed to work back there, so.
That's what I'm saying. They have them there, and what do they do if there's not an emergency? They're not doing anything.
I would want to hear what the government have to say about this. Did you hear the Prime Minister's report on it? Did he comment on it?
I haven't heard the Minister of Health, the Prime Minister, the MP for the area. Nobody. I haven't heard a thing.
So they don't have like a press conference and talk about it.
You know what's gonna? No, they haven't had a press conference. I don't think. I haven't heard it. But let me say this to you. You know what's gonna happen? From what I understand, because I hear that the person is well placed. I mean, it might be a little man according, but they're gonna pay through their nose. They're gonna pay. They're gonna sue them because it's a lawsuit ready to happen, and it's really sad that this has to come to that. Not only the man was only 70 years old, right?
Wow.
And to have fallen, I mean, he must have fallen with a bang, I tell you. And and then the lady offered, by the way, to pay a taxi, but I don't know if any taxi would have taken him in their taxi with his head bleeding like that. You know what I mean? Because if they had got even a towel and tied it around there, something.
Mm-hmm. Petra, I mean, here you're still in, but I'm just saying the one before never did with CMS. I don't know. It's just a sad situation, and I'm just hoping that that they ensure that this type of thing happens to nobody again. That's all.
Dennis, you know what? You must ask the public, anybody who out there who knows of any time in the history of Jamaica, things were not like this at the airport. Let them say it. No.
That's my point, Dr. Francis.
You know, it's a
That is
point.
my,
I wanted to put it out there because some people are saying it's this and it's this is this. No, just look at it and say, have you ever, do you have any pictures? Do you have any evidence that it was not?
is it a case that this government had removed that type of service from the airport?
I
It's
don't.
not a case. If it's not a case where this government removed that type of service from the airport, why are we pointing finger at this government? Nobody has ever make it their priority. That's my point. That's my point. None of these government has ever made this type of thing their priority, and
But-
that's what I'm saying.
Then it's another question we must ask him. Why is it so upsetting to people that this man has died, which could be their dad, their brother, you know, anything, died, and it could be anybody, right? And, you know, not to his fault, right? And yet we are defending the
A
action
government.
of people. Eh?
The government, that's one of the most common thing is that
No.
they defend
Hold
government.
on, let's leave the government because anytime you mention government, is a big problem when it comes to Jamaica because it must be politics. I mean, here I am. I mean, I have been going back to the past and my own experience, because the amount of things I remember that they have said about me in terms of, I mean, bad mind and this, that, and Roland and so forth. Let me tell you something. I will tell you a little quick story. When I was teaching at the college in California, several colleges, but this one in particular, this man used to call me the Renaissance man, and I never take it. You know, I never take it serious. I wasn't, but and it's like a Renaissance man is like a jack of all trades, hope and a master of a few. And he that means Leonardo da Vinci. That's a category. The people. But if you tell people that and say, but the boy thinks I'm bossy. But I paint, I write poetry and prose, I say it, elocution style, and so on and so on. I've made records, all that sort of thing. And yet these people don't know. So what? Oh, it means just a whole labor right who turned back. You understand me? So I'm just trying to say to you, you know, if we look at our children, our own children, for example, and we put them in a little buttonhole and say that is the boy too lazy and whatever. They want to watch thing. But that same guy who was watching, well, I think they watch a little bit too much television sometimes, and they play with their AI too much. But that guy now, many of the guys who are playing with that now have become the CEOs of Fortune 500 companies, making more money than their parents could ever make in a lifetime, in maybe a year. So it depends on if you see the expertise. It's like Tiger Woods, right? If you train guys, let's say it's 10, 15 guys and put them on a golf course, one is going to come out as a champion. One is going to come out. I mean, and we're so lucky. So let us not decry people now and so on. And if you have politicians who have worked hard and have done well for this country, and we have honored them, okay? But you have and you have people who have worked hard. They have businesses that are international. Look, they picked one of us to go to the IMF. Now, whether or not you like the IMF or not, it's still a very huge bank, and they took one of us to go there, right? So he should be commended. No, they're not going to say it's a labor right and pick to go. No, they're going to say it's Dr. So-and-so, right? And the fact of the matter is that we need to upgrade and uplift our people. And it seems so we must care for those that we consider the least among us. And if we can't do that as a nation, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. A lot of one last lick, so to speak. On this subject, I don't know if we're going to go to the other one, but right now, but we say we're Christians and we love God. But in order to love, to be a Christian, I think one of the greatest teaching is loving your neighbor. If your neighbor is a PNP or a JLP, whatever, do kill him. It is you have to love your neighbor. I have seen husband and wife have differences in terms of politics. It's happening right now where we are. But the fact of the matter is that they still respect each other, and they
Yes.
still care for each other, and so on. So what we need to do is we need to understand that, to me, Jamaica is more important. Listen, the other day, I was very upset with the Paris Olympics.
Mhm.
I was very upset. I never said anybody it's anybody's fault. But for the first time in a long time, I didn't think that enough effort, enough organization, enough planning went into it. That's what, because our people are good. And I understand that one person said that we were in too many events before the Paris, there's just too many. We should not have gone into, because those didn't make it, is the Paris Gold Olympics that was the big thing. You
Mhm.
understand? So I say to Jamaicans, we are fundamentally talented. We are, oh my gosh, the words cannot.
We're the best we're the best in everything.
Oh
But
yes,
we
it's
just
almost
but we
everything.
feel
Almost
we,
everything.
we feel in almost everything. How
Yes.
does that work?
What's that? No.
We are the best in everything, but we feel in so many things out.
Yes, but yes, that's the point I'm making. So it can't be everything. But I tell you something. Jamaica is still one of the best places in the world to visit. If you really want to enjoy yourself, right? If you want to eat the best food, go to the best places. They're
I
still there.
agree. I
You know?
agree. I
But the
agree.
problem is we
Not,
have,
not the safest place for Dr. Francis.
well, that I didn't go there because I don't want anybody to say I'm
No,
going.
but me want to be realistic, and I don't want nobody come think say boy me a politician or into politics or anything. Because if me, I'm a be real. Can I be real? Me not be real because me no want doing nothing. But if me if I choose a political party, anyways, anyhow, Catherine Dennis Robinson, and yeah, and I saw somebody came in later. Oh, Catherine Daly, yeah. Um, Somebody came in after that. I don't remember. Somebody said good night. I remember that. I don't remember, but somebody came in after. Anyway, night, guys. I thank you for stopping by. Dr. Francis and I are here dissecting the whole situation that happened in at Donald Sunset Airport and the port that this month. It is indeed a sad situation. We have not, I personally have not heard anything from what the government or the Minister of Health said in regards to it, or even the mayor. I'm just, if you guys see any clips or anything of that side, the number that is scrolling on the bottom, which is 847-774-7930. You guys could send it to me, let me see it, and we could talk about it. And if there's anything that I said that offend you guys, it's not intentional, but I just wish we would have put our people first and stop playing politics in with the safety and security, the health, right?
But
And our well-being. That's what
hold
we
on,
want.
hold on, Dennis. We have
Yes,
forgotten
sir.
one thing.
Hmm.
Something happened in Lauderhill, in Florida, which
Yeah.
was interesting among Jamaicans. And
Mhm.
it was a question of, in it's a big election going on, and people vying for mayor and so on and so. And Lauderhill is one of those centers. And it seems to me, from what I read, the Jamaica Men of Florida had put in the papers. I sent it to you, in the papers, that there was an altercation at the Independence Parade, where it's alleged, not alleged, in fact, it happened, and this vice mayor pushed down a older man,
Hmm.
almost, and another is they're like a Jamaican man who is
Hmm.
vying. I don't know what his position is, what he's vying for, or what have you, but I know that there are a lot of people in the race, and
Hmm.
so for whatever reason, our people who look like us, same melanin and everything, and he pushed down this man. And because he's vice mayor, the police are trying to cover it up and so on. And the Jamaica Men of Florida and Peter Gracie, and the Southern rep, They wrote it's in the Observer. Go look it up in the Observer.
Dr. Francis, I actually have the Observer open from that clip that you had sent, that you sent to me, but I am not able. Let me click on this and see
Hold on.
if I what comes up when I click on it is a Facebook is a Facebook post. It
Yes.
also indicated that it's in the
Observer.
it's in the Observer, but I did not look up the thing because
I know. Okay. I'll find the original one and get you. But what is interesting is this, that we a lot of people don't know, but certainly in South Florida, Jamaicans, not only with what's happening with the vice president is important, but we Jamaicans carry a big punch in South Florida. Mayors, councillors, and what have you in various, areas, and they literally dominate the place, even police chiefs and so on. But some people, it seems to me that there's a friction going on between American blacks and Jamaican blacks. Okay, and that is so sad because we should be working to each other and so on, and we should be upholding each other. And when you take, because I understand that these people get really remunerated very well, and they're fighting for survival, and they're fighting, but at the same time, what the vice mayor from this is what the article says. I'm quoting the Observer article, so nobody can say I said. It's from the Observer. I read it. Okay, I'm just quoting. I can't say I was not there, but I'm saying to you, we really should work together.
Yes,
this should never happen. It should never have happened. It should not be a topic. But at the same time, it happened, and we should not ignore it. We should not push it under the carpet because it happened one time. It will happen. And I understand. There are other things that came out of it, and I don't want to speak of it. That if I read it, but when I read it, I was really shocked.
I should have looked it up in the Observer. Well, I was searching actually and did not find it. But we had spent a long time with our people tonight. We actually went over the 1 hour mark. Dr. Francis, I want to close, but I want to personally thank you. Especially I heard that Glennis Robinson said it's good that we are here talking about this. I want to thank you, Dr. Francis, for giving me the opportunity to share space with you and discuss something of our concern. And I also want to plead to the people that we need to get out of this political thingy, whatever it is, and focus on the well-being of our people. It is very important. And so Dr. Francis and I decided tonight that we're going to talk about the people. And we don't want to carry that political image to what we're doing, because there is great needs and great concern in the country and the island that need the government, whoever it is, that the government before that had never looked at, and the current government probably overlook it just the same. We need to change that. But Dr. Francis, I want to give you the opportunity on the floor to take a minute to plead to the government, hoping that somebody would have shown him this clip to say, look here, or whatever medical or whatever department there is that we have concern over. Dr. Francis, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to just plead and ask for him.
I want to thank you for the opportunity to share with you, because I think this is important that we share these topics and we just talk about it. We don't blame anybody, or we don't cast any shadows on anybody and so on.
No.
We're not going to do that going forward. Nobody's going to get me do that. Okay? I believe that, we are people and we make mistakes. And this one a huge mistake. The Minister of Tourism should be really on top of all of this, because he's a very good minister from what we hear and what we have seen. He's one of the most popular of the ministers that brought a lot of things to the country. And we do need tourism. and tourism needs us. So I'm just asking everybody to come to grips with what has happened there. I think this is a good opportunity for us to decide where we want to go. If we want to be the best providers of hospitality throughout the world, if we want to, wow, okay,
Yeah, I guess explosion
I
in
never heard about that, but I
Burger
hope.
King in Kingston. Wow,
If we
keep going, Dr. Francis. I'm looking for clips.
What's that?
I keep going.
Yeah.
I'm looking for clips for that.
Yeah, I'm just saying to
explosion.
you that we must try to meet each other halfway. And I would encourage the government, the Ministry of Tourism, the Minister of Health, the Prime Minister's office, whoever is in charge, the mayor of Montego Bay, okay, right? Who is and so on and so forth. I ask them to please, will you please make sure that you're what you're selling, that you're selling the right thing, and it's good for the people before them and behind them. Yeah, don't check into everything, because in the end it's Montego Bay. In the end, it's St. James. In the end, the people are going to be calling on people to do something. So the people of Montego Bay, you work at the airport, you make business from the airport, you do business at the airport. Your children depend upon you making these monies to keep them in school, etc. Your families are needed. You know what I mean? We need to see you because we love you. We want to come and interact with you. But if it's broken, if it's a broken system, which is not a broken system, but in this instance, it's really is surprising that it turned out like this. Because you're supposed to have something in place for anyone, regardless of color or creed, because we're out of many one people. And so we have to make sure, ladies and gentlemen, it's coming from me, yes. And I have taken some stances that many of you may not like. But I ask you, do not judge me by what you've heard. Judge me because of what I do. Go and do the research yourself. Find out who I am. Okay? Find out, and find out from people, the people I've interacted with and called friends on all sides. Okay? We don't need a label. We don't need to wear a shirt to be, to identify with any group. We don't. Look at me. I have a thing up here. A weed. Yes, a weed something on my cap. And I don't smoke weed. I can't smoke weed. If I ever smoke weed, I wouldn't be able to say one good thing. And how do I know? I tried it once, like Mr. Clinton, just once. Okay. So
Dr. Francis, let me try one time, go up in our bush, go up in our road and get some and try.
Yeah.
And Dr. Francis, as soon as we reach halfway in the weed, I saw a policeman that walk come towards me. And Dr. Francis, no matter how much run, the man just walk and we just couldn't let him. And we run out past my mother yard and the man just walk up, see you. So we not touch it because we can't get the police and they follow me.
No.
Dr. Francis, thank you very much for stopping by and expressing yourself about the concern, not about the man, the 70-year-old who had passed away at the airport. And not just him. We are pleading to the government for protection and security of the people that live in Jamaica and members of the diaspora. I'm asking you, place some emphasis in those areas. I could go on and on, but there are three main areas that concern me, Dr. Francis, and I'm going to say it tonight. Medical, security, and education is my areas of concern. And I just want, some emphasis to place in that department. I heard of many, I think they're building some facilities doing, I think I hear the groundbreaking and some medical facilities there, and many police stations are changing. So continue on that path, and I hope, that could bring some difference and some security and actually some medical facility closer to home, that when we are admitted to a hospital, we can get everything under one umbrella. We don't have to, be leaving the hospital facility and go get X3 and all this, the outside and all that, it is unsafe during that time. I've seen it last week, Dr. Francis. So that's why I'm concerned about it.
Let me just say
This
this
is-
before, Dennis, that I want to say
Yes,
that there's a view that the people in the diaspora want to come to take over Jamaica. It is absolutely rot. It's not
False.
absolutely false. Nobody wants that. And matter of fact, they say that some people say that I want to vote. Absolutely not. If I want to vote in Jamaica, I know what to do. I take a plane and come down and vote. That's not the issue. The issue is you hear about a thing called a bird's eye view. Sometimes when you're in something, you can't even smell it. But the moment you move away from it,
Mhm.
it becomes clearer and more clearer and more clearer. So I'm
Yes.
just saying to you guys, listen to me. Jamaica is wonderful and all that sort of thing. But we cannot accept certain things if we want to be a first world country. And that's
Exactly.
all. And a godly country.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
Say we are godly. So
Petra, Colin White, and the crew, Catherine and Glennis and everybody who had participated tonight in the discussion. Thank you very much. And I'm gonna ask you guys to like, share, and subscribe. And forgive Dr. Francis for his not so good looking looks tonight. One day we will clean him up so that he can look better. Brenda, you respect. And there was somebody that was participating very strongly earlier. We have Don James, but there was somebody.
Brenda has been participating now for the past 20 years.
Yeah. Oh wow.
More.
Great.
More.
Andrew Hewitt. Okay, Andrew Hewitt. Blessings. Dr. Francis again, blessings, enough love. May I look something to eat because I'll be traveling tomorrow and you're not here from me. Next week I will be at a place, but guess what happened? We're gonna seek out some contents and you and I will be here next week. Wherever I'm at in the world, we'll be talking about our citizens of Jamaica and the things of our concern. And one other thing that before I go, I want you to help me, and I will do it myself. I will do it also to find some positive things that's going on in Jamaica, and we highlight them as well. I don't want to be viewed as a space that just talk about the negatives. I want to find some positive that is going on, and we highlight them as well. But we can tear down the thing that is negative also. Big up and enough love here.
And if there's
Take care.
something that is not true, just tell us.
Just tell us.
Just tell us. Just tell us.
Yeah, man.
So that is the whole idea. Have fun while learning. That was my motto. Have fun while speaking. Not
All right.
not bad. Okay?
Thank you very much, Dr. Francis. Well, love, and you guys take care and thank you for participating. Like, share, and continue to subscribe to the channel. Blessings to you all. Have a good night. Much love.